Hey everyone, it's Jackie from Watercolor Gypsy Art and Wellness, and today we're going to start the Pastel Informational Intensive Workshop where I go over all the brands of soft pastels on the market, including some house brands, give you all the information about the brand, like what kind of sets they come in, how much they cost, what it costs to have a set, how the sets are broken up, and all that information like that, so you can decide if you're confused, if you are looking for a new set of pastels, or you're a beginner just starting pastels and you don't know what brand to go to. It's all very confusing because there are so many brands and there's so many different levels of softness. So I thought the best thing to do would be just to tell you about the brands, give you an insight about the companies, why they're laid out the way they are, why they're made the way they are, what they're best used for, and give you a little bit of a demo on sanded and unsanded paper. Now these two pieces of paper up here, this is a dark Canson Mi-Teintes. This is a light Canson Mi-Teintes. I think I have one on the rough side and one on the smooth side. I do. And then this is sanded Uart paper. So because I'm not going to be going over every single paper in this just showing you the pastels, we're going to do another video dedicated to paper. Now, since there are so many soft pastel brands, let's just look up here for a moment. Let's zoom in. This is a new camera, by the way, so I'm still getting used to the settings, I'm getting used to the microphone, I'm getting used to the lighting, so if things are a little off or a little dark, or you see color changes, it's because I'm still getting used to my camera. So up here, from here up, this is a beautiful little chart that Dakota Pastels provides you when you order from them. And these are all the soft pastels that they offer. So if you see up here, let me see if I can get that to focus. It says soft. And then there is medium. And then there's hard. So we're going to do soft pastels in two separate videos, because if I did hard pastels, if I did all the pastels, I'm sorry, we would be here for an hour, and I would like to break these videos up into ideally half-hour videos at a time. I was going to do a history video on pastels, but with the amount of sorry, I'm trying to get this tape down because my Uart paper was curling. All of you who have used Uart paper know that it likes to curl. With all of the pet portrait commissions that I do have right now, I didn't have the time to do more research and sit in front of the camera and set up everything to do that history video. So that history video will be uploaded when I do have the time to do it. For now, let's just dive right in. So we're going to start with soft pastels. And the three places that I acquired soft pastels were DakotaPastels.com, Dick Blick, because we have their house brand on this list as well, and Jackson's Art, because I have Jackson's Art house brand in this mix of soft pastels, because their handmade soft pastels are quite good for the price. So we're going to start with Dakota Pastels house brand, which is called Blue Earth Pastels. Now, they are made in the USA. We can focus. You can see how small this is. There we go, autofocus. They're very small, they are square. Let me just compare this to a Terry Ludwig for you. They're quite small, so that is something to consider. They are very densely pigmented, but they are quite fragile, and that is something I noticed as I have the full 336 box set, and I'm about to tell you why. So, about the brand, they are Dakota Pastels house brand, Blue Earth Pastels. They come in a variety of sets. They are square, they are made in the USA. You can't find them everywhere. I'm not sure if they're at Blick or at Jerry's Artarama, but I know they're at Jackson's and they're at DakotaPastels.com. The full set has 336 colors. The colors are organized in a very specific way, like a 19th century oil painting palette. So they're organized by hue, value, and intensity, which makes this pastel a great kind of pastel for beginning or intermediate artists who are still getting used to using those qualities in their artwork. Which is the most important thing, is the intensity of the color, the value of the color, and the color itself, whether it is a warm color, cool color. So if you wanted to acquire the whole set over time, they are broken up into 12 sets of 28 pieces that features one hue at a time, which means there's one 28-piece set of magenta, there's one 28-piece set of like red, there's one 28-piece set of earth green. So you can go check it out on dakotapastels.com. And you can acquire the sets like that just buying those 28-piece sets. Now, the way that it's organized, let's talk about that for just a moment. It is organized in a 7-value scale and a 4-value intensity. So they are labeled, this is happens to be a quinacridone pink, so this is P2B. What does that mean? That means it is value 2, which is kind of dark. And about 1 would be the darkest and 7 would be the lightest. B means it's 1 level down in intensity. A is the most intense, B is less intense, C is like even less intense, and D is the least intense. So that's how it is broken up, which is absolutely stunning. They do offer both the warm and cool sides of the primary colors, along with secondary colors and warm and cool neutrals. They do have portrait sets and landscape sets. No half sticks are available. One single pastel will run you $3.30. Smaller sets of these pastels, they range from $20 to $70. Each 28-piece set is $90. So remember, 28-piece sets, they're broken down by you. If you wanted to collect the whole set, you would have to buy 12 over time. The full set without the wood box is $975. The whole set with the wood box set is $1,050. Sorry that I'm talking so fast. I'm trying to get through the informational part so I can actually show you the pastel. Okay, so first I'm just going to take the side of the pastel and I'm just going to wipe it down using a mid to light kind of pressure. And you can see it kind of glides over the tooth of the paper. Now if I press a little harder, I will fill the tooth of that Canson paper, but it is a lovely color. Let's see how it shows up on the white, if I can get this to not move. It shows up on the smooth white very well. And I love this for glazing effects if you are layering a lot. Now if you're layering a lot, you wouldn't use Canson Mi-Teintes, but because it is an unsanded surface or a uncoated surface, I decided to use that. Let's go over it with the sanded paper. Wow, look at that difference. And this is a mid to light pressure. Look at how that sanded surface just picks up this pastel. And even though it's small, I didn't use a lot of pastel. I didn't need a lot of pastel to do this. So they have a really cool set. Something else I want to highlight about this brand. That is an 84-piece ponchade box with mount, and it's similar to, let's zoom out here just for a second. It's a bigger version of this, this is the Hyman single sketch box, and there is a nice place to mount your paper, and they have all their pastels in here, and usually when you get Blue Earth pastels, they are put in the foam vertically, which is a little strange because you would think they would put in horizontally, but here they are placed horizontally, so they're placed down like this. But they have a 48 ponchade box with mount. I think they have more than one. They also have a sketch set wood box of 126 colors, and then they finally have their 336 wood box. So that's Blue Earth pastels. They're fragile. When you take them out of the box, like when I take them out of the foam, I've noticed that they do crack and break a little bit. Like if you can see here, when you pull them out, they're very fragile. So they are mostly pigment. There's not a lot of binder in there. And that could be a good thing and that could be a bad thing. Like I love using them. I love the effects I get with them. I really enjoy painting with them, but sometimes the fragility of them makes it a little bit difficult. So that is Blue Earth pastels. This is how they look. They blend very well. They're very good for layering. They're not blending on the smooth side of the Canson paper. The Canson paper really doesn't like to pick them up, so that's something to note. Okay, let's move on. Okay, Art Spectrum Extra Soft. This is a new type of pastel. I think it came out very, it's new as of 2018. There we go. So this is what it looks like. It's Red Sea. They are square, as you can see. They're more rectangular, actually. There is 180 colors in there total in the Art Spectrum Extra Soft line. They are made in Australia. The Art Spectrum Extra Soft Square are on the very softest end of their hardness ratings of pastel. They have a creamy texture, excellent light fastness. They do have landscape and portrait sets available, no half sticks available. A single pastel will run you between $5.50 to $7. A single set, they have sets of 10, 20, and 30. The set of 10 will run you $55. The set of 20 will run you $110. The set of 30 will run you $165. So there's a little less information about this one than the Blue Earth. The Blue Earth had a little bit more because of how it was set up. So let's see how this works. Let me take the paper off. And I have some pastels in a lighter color now that I was waiting to take the paper off just to do this tutorial. So I'm gonna just, ooh, look, I can get nice lines. You see that? You see those lines? Let's do that with the Blue Earth real quick. I can get nice lines. Yeah, the lines are a little fatter on the sanded paper, but if you use it right, you can get fine lines. That's something to note. That's why I like square pastels. They're not as soft as a Schminke or a Sennelier, but they, oh, that was a light touch. They are quite soft. I gotta use less paper. I'm gonna run out of paper. I have so much of these papers, so I don't really mind doing this. They are creamy, though. They are very creamy. They are delicious. Like, I think for the price of them, they're phenomenal. They're not the, ooh, see how that kind of cracked because I was using it on its side. So that's something to note about really soft pastels. That usually happens to me with the Blue Earth pastels, but that just goes in my little pastel bucket and gets made into a new pastel. My cat is crying to get in. Come on, focus for me. There we go. See, new camera struggles, guys. All right, let's move on. I didn't want this video to be longer than a half hour, but I think it might be. This is a Blocks pastel. I have it in this dark green. I also have it in another color. Let me just grab it because so what happened was I originally bought the dark sampler set by Dakota Pastels, and because they're darks, let's just talk about pastels just for one moment here. Pastels are pigment sticks, and each company uses usually methylcellulose, I would guess, because it's 2020, to bind them together. Diane Townsend's a little different. She uses pumice in her binder as well. But they are pigment. They are raw pigment compressed into a stick. That's what they are. When you have a certain color, that color is going to maintain the qualities of the pigment itself, regardless of the brand. So some colors are just going to have the same qualities with just a little bit difference due to how the brand makes the pastels and mixes the pigment with their binders. So that is why in some of them, I have more than one color to show you. So Blocks, they're made in Belgium, Germany. There are 204 colors in their set. In their full set. They've been manufacturing these pastels since 1865. They are round, as you can see. They have landscape and portrait sets, no half sticks available. A single pastel will run you only $3.15. They have sets of 12, 24, 36, and 72. Ranging from $35 to $175. The full set price is $428, so that's pretty good price-wise. Now they feel a little harder on the soft pastel range, so let's get into this. Let me break them. They break nicely with very minimal dust. I certainly and ooh, they are quite soft. Not as soft as the Art Spectrum Extra Soft, or the let's see if we can roll and get like some grass shapes going here. Yeah, let's see if we can. Yeah, so you can get some pretty nice linear details with these as well. This color and this color, they don't have that much of a difference in how they feel. They feel consistent. Wow, look at that. This is a light touch, guys. Okay, let's see if I can drag it out just a little bit and see if I can get it even lighter. I'm gonna do that here. I like square pastels, so I need a very light touch on my paper. So, softness rating, they're pretty high on softness. So I was very surprised for the way they feel in the hand. They feel very good in the hand. They feel sturdy. They don't feel like they're gonna crack into pieces. So they're held together very nicely. And these would be fantastic for layering. If you do landscapes where you like to glaze, similar to how Karen Margulis works, they would be fantastic for that. So that's all the information I have for you on that brand. Do I enjoy using them? Yes, I do. I enjoy using them very much. Okay, now we're gonna get into a big category here. And I only have 2 out of the 3 Diane Townsend's. She offers soft forms, thin lines, and terrajes. The terrajes, what is that you say? They're like these big chunky blocks of pastel. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. So they are these big chunky blocks. That's what a terraje is. So I have a set of 12 of them. I don't have the thin lines. She also offers a dry ground. What is a dry ground? A dry ground is a pastel paper primer. So you can prime your paper to accept pastels versus a wet ground such as the Golden's acrylic ground for pastels. We're going to get into that in the surfaces and grounds video. I just wanted to let you know that she does offer them. Now, they're soft, they're made in the USA. There's 412 colors in her entire soft form line. They are hand rolled round, very densely pigmented, and use pumice as an ingredient. They're good for continued layering, and the addition of pumice results in a grittier pastel, which allows the pastel dust to embed into the fibers of the paper it is applied to. And I can say from experience of using them, I have gotten more layers on my Canson Mi-Teintes paper than I have with any other pastel. So that grittiness that they're talking about, here's the soft form. That grittiness, and you can tell, there we go. You can tell from the shape that they are they're hand rolled. They're organized into a 3-step system: pure color, dark, and light. 120 each set. She also has a set of 48 exotic colors, 10 fluorescent, 7 iridescent, 15 pearlescent, and 16 metallic. We go over that in the 48 set of exotics review that I have on this channel, which I will link a card to. The exotic colors are very fragile since they are mostly pigment and very little binder. A single pastel will run you $3.83. She offers sets of 12, 24, 48, and 120, ranging from $48 to $378 for the set of 120. They are colored sets, no portrait or landscapes. Oh, no, I'm sorry. She does have portrait and landscape sets. I have the landscape A set. She also offers a landscape B, and I do think she offers portrait sets as well. Full set with the exotics, without the exotics, I'm sorry, is 360 colors and will run you $1,056 USD. Full set with exotics, which is the full soft form line of 412, will run you $1,148. So, not cheap, right? So I have a dark here that I've already broken because I made this video once before and I was unhappy with it due to the only colors I have. So I'm just side stroking there. And they feel grittier. They feel harder than all of the other pastels that we've done so far. On the sanded paper, they work phenomenally. I would rather use these on sanded paper, but because I do a lot of studies on Canson Mi-Teintes, Mi-Tintes, whatever it is, I tend to use that with these, and that's because that's in my little sketch box. You can get a nice line if you break them and use the side. See that? And that's on the smooth side. Now, on the sanded paper, you have to be very light to get some details with them. But I hope you can see how they flow on. Now, I am going to do, with her pastels, pigment matters. You hear that? It's surprising that this one's just a little bit harder than the darker one. But they go on very smooth, and with this I could layer, let's try the Terraje real quick. But before we go into the Terrajes, let me read it to you. These are the Terrajes. I showed you it a little bit earlier in the video. Come on. Whoop, there we go. It's nice. Oh, they're labeled by a numbering system. So this is 126. The two we just did, the turquoise was 100, and the burgundy-like color was 118D, which means dark. Remember how they're broken up into pure, light, and dark? The Terrajes are flat oval shaped. They're 1/2 inch by 1 inch by 1 3/4 inches. So I think this is 1 3/4 inches. This is 1/2 inch, and this is 1 inch. So, or maybe this is a 1/2 inch. Yeah. I'm not a mathematician, guys. Just this is the size of the pastel. It's a pretty good size. There's 120 colors in the entire line of Terrajes. A single pastel will run you $5.50. They have sets of 12 at $65, sets of 24 at $129. All for landscape and portrait sets, like sets of greens. I have the set Moods for Matisse, which is a set of 12, which I will do a separate review on very soon. The full set of Terrajes will cost you $895 USD. So that is the information we have on the Terrajes. So let's give them a go. They feel very similar to the soft form, maybe a little grittier. I'm going to try to, yeah. But they're nice and thick. These are great for getting your background in. And they work consistently across all 3 papers due to their pumice. So I'm in love with these Terrajes. I think they're great. And you can use them for detail. Like you can, it's really hard to see, and like I don't have the greatest zoom lens yet, guys, but you can get detail. Let me see if I can find, let me layer. You see that? Let's see if I can just, if I were to draw like a little flower shape, I can do it still, even though this is a fat pastel. Very similar to the Jack Richardson hand-rolled block-in blocks, or whatever. I think they're called background or blocking in blocks. I forget what they're called. We'll get to that though. So now I'm just going to tell you about the thin lines. The thin lines are similar to the soft forms, except they're longer. They're longer and they're thinner, and they're made for getting detail. So she has a set specifically for that. Because I can't afford everything, I just couldn't get one of those pastels. There's 64 colors in the set. They are formed thin and long for more delicate line work and detail. Single pastels are not available. They are only available in sets, broken into sets of 4 and 16. The 16 sets are $50. There's a 48 plain air set for $150, and the full set will run you $190. This is all in USD. I think I said that quite a few times. So let's move all this up. I gotta do something with that red that broke off. So we have some more room. Just a little bit. Because I can't move my camera, but I can move my papers. So I'm going to move this all down just a little. And I might just, because I want to zoom in as much as I possibly can here. And we're almost done with this half. And maybe I'll just bring in the sanded paper. Because I want to get you in here. So I want you to see what it's like. Okay, next one we have is Giraud, or Giraud, if you say it in English. Giraud pastels are made in France. They've been around for quite a while, since 1780. This is a broken stick of Giraud pastels. I have the flesh tone set and I'm very happy with the colors of them. They are quite thin and they do feel a little harder on the softness scale of soft pastels. So softness rating, I would give them like a 5 or a 6. They're not super soft, but once you kind of break through them and use them a little and get them out of their round shape, they go on quite smoothly. A single pastel will run you $5.25. A set of 25 will run you $125. They are divided by color family from lightest tint to most neutral darks. A set of 50 will run you $245. All kinds of sets. They have portrait, landscape, specialty artist sets that were curated by artists available. The full set is $1,295. Okay, so Elizabeth Mowry does have a landscape set. I found it somewhere. I think it might be on Dakota Pastels, but it's on fineartstore.com, I believe. So Elizabeth Mowry, if you look her up, she's the author of Poetic Landscapes, and unfortunately she's no longer with us. But she was an amazing pastel. She was an amazing artist. And Poetic Landscapes really describes her. So let's see how the Girauds work. Now you see how I'm getting pretty good texture, and if I press just a little harder, I can fill the tooth of the paper. I can get some nice line work in here as well. Let's do the smooth side of the Canson Mi-Teintes. Look at how beautifully, oh, I just want to keep going. I just want to keep filling the paper. They are harder on the soft pastel scale, like I said, and if I just roll the pastel along the tip, I can get some really nice grassy shapes. So you can get detail, like let's say I'm doing an eye, which you probably can't really see me doing right now, because I'm doing it over this color. Like, you're able to get some detail in there. So you're really able to work with these in any way you want. I think having a harder soft pastel is also good. When we get into the, see, look at that, I'm barely touching and I'm getting so much pigment, but this is great for glazing in those landscape paintings that we were talking about. And I'm bringing up the glazing just because it's a darker color. I do not have another Giraud out right now to show you. But the lighter colors are a little bit softer, so that is something to keep in mind. Again, even on the sanded paper, I can get some nice details. My horrible eye drawing. But you get the point. They're harder than what we've done so far. You know, the Diane Townsends were soft, but they were gritty. These are creamy but hard, if that makes sense, and they are quite expensive. So unless you use them, so basically if you use them for a specific thing, they're great for detail. They're my face is covered in pastels now. They are phenomenal for portrait work, detailed landscape work. You can use them all on their own, from underpainting all the way up to the finished look. So Giraud pastels, great. We went over the hardness scale. It's a good thing.